Hi everybody, it's February 1916, Eastern Front, the Mud Front. Yes, it's muddy, as we had in a previous video. Over here, outside of St. Petersburg, the Germans did a massive assault right here, and the end result was they lost a corps here, I think a corps there and a corps there. And the Russians lost, I think, a corps, 2 corps. Right there in that hex. They're trying to break that hex so they can come across. But the biggest thing is the Russians finally got smart and went across this river complex that goes right through here. So that's a line in the woods, entrenched behind a river. So the only thing that isn't affected by attacking across the river is the artillery. So that's a tough nut. And right now they just can't get it done. If they could break one of these positions, like this position or this position, this is the best one they have a good chance of, because they can get 3 army groups on it. But if they could break it and get in, they could crack that line, and then they'll get the corner. That's the whole thing, is if you get a corner of an army, you can start rolling it up. Now right here, the Germans did attack. Once again, they had 3 army groups right here, did an assault right here, trying to break that supply line point. If they could break that point right there, then they'll get a corner, and then they can chew down this assault line. But an entire army group disappeared right here. Germans just got demoralized. You can see them right there. Had to fall back. And here they had an army group that got chewed up. This one got chewed up. But they almost cracked the line right there. There is one corps left sitting underneath there. Maybe it's 2. There's 2. 2 army corps parked underneath there. And they just couldn't get the job done, because it's just, that entrenchment is just hard. Any die roll is like they have a -2 to their die because of that entrenchment. Now, over here in the open ground, the Germans attacked the Russians that were in the open. The Russians said, we're going to attack down here. We're heading towards Kiev. The Germans said, you're not having anything of it. They hammered this corps right here, took some casualties, and just smashed it. And there's Russian dead right there. Got to move them to the dead pile. So they did keep the crossroads, which is important for maintaining Kiev with supply in case it gets cut off over there. So that is an important thing. They need to hold that crossroad. And the same thing can be said about, if they want to keep Kiev, they have to keep that crossroad. And that's up to the Austrians. The Germans said, we're not having anything of it. They threw a corps in there in the defense of Kiev. So we got Austrians and Germans defending that hex. Now, over here, the Austrians, there's not much they could do other than just pay attention to what's going on. And there are 2 army groups right here. They have the one coming in that's being railed in from the supply lines, but they don't have enough movement through the mud. All they can do is just get right there. That's all they can do. So they're kind of threatened with this Russian army group that's right here. So it's looking iffy. They may have to fall back to this crossroad right up here to maintain supply lines over to Kiev. So Odessa is looking like it can't be taken at the moment unless they get some German support. And the Germans are busy trying to crack those lines up there. They just can't do it. They're stretching their troops thin, because they even sent troops down here to Bulgaria to help out their Bulgarian buddies. So all they've done here is the Bulgarians said, we're going to dig in. The Bulgarians and Germans that were here, they're digging in. So we got dug in troops. The Germans moved into the mountains here. That's all their movement could do, is get to there, because they went from here to here. That took 3 movement points just to get to that hex. And, well, where is it? 4. I think it's 4. 2 for the mountains, 2 for the zone of control. So, oh, I'm sorry. I just made a mistake. I got to move them back. They can't get there. Because if it's 2 movement to here for the mountains and 2 for the zone of control, they only have a 3 movement because they lose 1 due to the mud conditions. So they can't get there. that is an interesting dilemma. All right, so the supply line is still being held because they got troops all along that supply line. So Bulgaria is going to be an interesting thing. So we're going to see what the Allies do. The British right now are looking pretty tough. They have the cream of the crop of their army is in Bulgaria at the moment, and they're marching down the road right here. And they got their eyes set right there. Germans know that. That's why they're digging in. They got to hold that line. So we'll just see what happens. All right, we'll be back. Everybody, is February 1916 on the Eastern Front for the Allies. All right, Allies, once again, got some reinforcements in. They filled the gaps that were blown into the holes in that last engagement with the Germans. Germans actually look like they're running out of reinforcements for an offensive. Probably where an offensive might be coming is over here towards Moscow, because this looks like they're building up pretty good. Nothing happened over here for the Allies, like nothing happened over here for any type of attacks. They're just building their forces up, trying to protect their lines. They're at the extent where they can't really give any more ground. Now, the interesting thing is, you're seeing a mass of red. The interesting thing is that the British are looking for a place to fight because they got this massive army in 1916. Because the conscription and all that stuff, enlistment, are filling the ranks. And those ranks have no place to go in France, so they're in Russia. That's where the war is. So, all right, let's just go through it. In the last upper part of the turn, the Germans attacked right here, took the crossroads, right? Well, the Russians wanted it back, so they attacked, hit the unit, they demoralized one unit, destroyed another 2 corps in the process, and had an exchange. So this army group right here got shrunk down pretty hard, and then what was left from the group that was here, and this all went taking this crossroad. So the crossroad is now taken. And then they're marching their way. So they might be thinking about getting back into Minsk, cutting off the supply line right here. If they could get some cav going and take Minsk or cut that line, the Germans will not be able to take Moscow. So they are in trouble if this road is marched. Because right now, all that's stopping them is this group right here, this army group that's been in this demoralized group, protect them from the Russians. If the Russians had any cav, they could just go right down this rail and cut it right there. So that is an interesting thing. Now, there was a massive battle, and guess what? Kiev is now back in the hands of the Russians, thanks to the Brits attacking. They attacked across the river. There was some casualties. A lot of Russians died. A lot of Bothans died getting that information. Yeah. So that city of Kiev is now taken. So, at the moment, these German troops right here are looking like, this is not looking good. Also, this crossroad right here is looking awful empty. And looky right there. Well, there's some of that. I was just talking about that Russian cavalry cutting the line. There they are, right there. So, it is 1, 2. It's not that far away from it. If we get some good weather, they could cut that line and cut these guys off over here that are trying to take Odessa. So it's not looking tenable at the moment for the Austro-Hungarians to trade. They kept trying to take Odessa at poor cost, and now the Russians have moved some reinforcements in there. Now they're taking the hits, but it's helping having all these British troops down, filling the ranks with some good troops. Because the Russians wish they had these kind of infantry to fight the battle for them. All right. So, we're going to see what's happening over here. All right. It's looking awful red over here. Bulgaria has become a slugfest into the mountains. But they realized, the British were sitting here and they realized, you know what? We can cut this rail line up here and still be in supply. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, we have British troops in supply. They cut this line off, basically isolating Varna at the moment, and it wouldn't take much of an effort for the, some good weather or something of that nature. They could take that city, and it's not looking good for the German troops that are dug in right there. So that could be an interesting battle. It's not looking tenable for the Germans. They might have to realize and look at their line and see where their next defensive position might be. So it's kind of looking good for the Allies at the moment. And we sort of have to see. The Brits took some hits in that battle, but they did. Oh, yeah, there was a battle right here. Right? There was some Bulgarian troops right there. These British troops here and here attacked, hammered them hard across the. They would kind of decrease in their attack value across that river there. But they rolled a 10, so it just splattered them. They got taken out pretty quickly. It's like, that's the thing about the Bulgarians. Their troops, you're looking at a 233 versus, look at that, that's a 794. So the quality of troops is like, even one division or corps attacking these guys, it's already a 2-to-1 attack. So the Bulgarians are just more or less speed bumps until the Germans get involved. So those are actually the quality troops down there. But you never know. The Germans might think that they can say to heck with Bulgaria and just let them have it. You never know. We'll see what happens. All right, we'll be back. Thanks for watching.